The film we are about to see was lovingly put together by Jeremy Mintzberg, son of Barbara and Saul Mintzberg, and we thank him for preserving this precious piece of our family history. I am Rita Blaine Grossman, age 91, youngest daughter of Nettie and Will Blaine, and I'm here to help with the narrative. And here we are at McAllister College skating rink. And here is Grandma Cohen in Milwaukee. Sylvia Pash to her left, our cousin. I wish I knew where and when this was taken, this scene. It looks like a lot of fun. I have absolutely no recollection of it. And here we are on the driveway, 1552 Portland. And there's Grandpa Will, customary pipe in his mouth. Grandma Nettie. Looks like she's going to go back in the house. We didn't do this too often. Looks like a lot of fun. And here Barbara and I are riding our bike. I took dancing lessons when I was, maybe 6 or 7 or so. And here I am in my little costume, doing my little routine. Here's Grandpa Will. And here we are in downtown Milwaukee. And the reason I know it's downtown Milwaukee is because we would come every year for Passover and stay at a hotel in downtown Milwaukee. And the whole family, the whole Cohen family would come together. And here we are. It's Grandma Cohen, Uncle Max Lappin. This is outside of Grandma Cohen's home and near downtown Milwaukee. She was such a wonderful woman, didn't speak a word of English, but somehow we communicated. Uncle Jack Feinstein, Aunt Jenny's husband. Dick Pash on the left and Sylvia Pash, cousins. Clowning around outside of Grandma's house. That's Marion Feinstein Borkin in the light coat, Aunt Jenny's youngest daughter, and Carolyn behind Aunt Jenny. This is Uncle Max Lappin and his son Bob, Buddy Lappin. Uncle Jack Feinstein clowning around, kind of uncharacteristic of him. And having fun. I think this is Carolyn again in our backyard. And here we are, this is Aunt Jenny Feinstein on the left, Grandma Nettie, Uncle Abe Lappin and Grandma Nettie. And here we are in downtown Milwaukee, and we were there every year. And we all stayed at a hotel downtown. And that's Uncle Max Lappin on the left, Jenny Feinstein, Aunt Jenny Feinstein, Uncle Abe Lappin, Grandma Nettie, and Uncle Dave Lappin. And here comes Uncle Max Lappin, who lived in Cincinnati with Grandma Nettie and Aunt Jenny. And here's Grandpa Will. This is Grandma Cohen lighting the Sabbath lights. Here's Grandpa Will's side of the family. This is cousin Max Anton with his 2 sons, Jack on the left and Art on the right. And again, here's Grandma. I often wondered where she got her clothing. Maybe they were tailor-made for her, because you don't see clothes like that in department stores. Such a wonderful woman. Uncle Dave Lappin. Striking a pose. And here we have the brothers, Abe from Detroit, Max from Cincinnati, and Dave from Milwaukee with Grandma Cohen. And I would like to make a mention at this point about why the brothers in the family were named Lappin, and Grandma's name is Cohen. You would think the name would be the same. However, the family name was Cohen. But when they came to this country from Europe, they decided that maybe the Cohen name was too Jewish, and so the boys who were planning to go into business decided to use the old family name, which was used in Europe, which was Lappin. So Grandma chose, of course, to use the name Cohen, but her sons chose to use the name Lappin. There was a fourth brother, Louis Cohen, the only brother to retain the name Cohen, who died at the young age of 39, leaving his wife Rose and 4 small children, Anita, Bernice, Milton, and Robert. In the front row is Nettie Blaine, Grandma Cohen, and Aunt Lena Pash, the oldest of the children, and to her left is Grandma Nettie, the youngest of the children. And I don't know who the other people in the picture are. They could be relatives, but I don't recognize them. And here we are in our backyard. We're women wearing hats for the thing of the day. Grandma Nettie and Uncle Abe, and get a load of those shoulder pads that she's wearing. Here's Grandpa Will and Rose Wasserman, Grandpa's sister, in Milwaukee. And coming out the door is Rose Wasserman's daughter, Mildred Anton, Rose's husband, Robert Wasserman. He didn't smile too much when we would see him, so it's very nice to see him smiling on this. And here is Grandma Nettie. She was such a good sport. Whatever we wanted to do, she was with us. Here comes Aunt Barbara. And here comes Grandpa Will in that wonderful, famous bathing suit. And here we are, Barbara and me, in our backyard. Every summer we would make a tent with sheets, bed sheets. And Barbara was the one so good at it. I was just her helper. She knew exactly how to do it. And here we are again in our backyard, Barbara and me. I don't know what the occasion is, and I don't know why we're dressed the way we are, but there we are clowning around. Here is Barbara at the lake in a kind of a snit. And she started walking down this hill with a stick, having a little temper. By the time she got down to the bottom of the hill, she was smiling again. We often talked about that particular view. Here's Grandma Nettie again. And I can't remember who these 2 people are. I think they're relatives, but I can't say for sure. And here I am in a beautiful Indian costume. I don't know the significance of the costume, and I don't know why I was in this costume, but it was such a beautiful outfit in my backyard again. Hi there. And here is Barbara on our driveway the day of her confirmation, which I think was in 43 or 44. And we had many relatives from out of town who came for the occasion. And here they come out the back door of the house. In the front is Aunt Lena Pash, Aunt Jenny Feinstein, Aunt Rose Cohen, and Anna Lappin, and her husband Dave Lappin. And I don't know who that last gentleman is. I don't recall at all. And here we are in the yard. And here's Anna Lappin, uncharacteristically being funny. She wasn't that particular type of person. Here we all are. And this is our dog Rags in the picture there, and they're lining up to come forward so that they can be identified. In the front is Aunt Lena Pash, Grandma's oldest sister. To the left, Aunt Rose Cohen. To the right, Aunt Jenny and me. In the back is Aunt Anna Lappin, Uncle Dave Lappin, and here's Grandpa Will and Uncle Dave and clowning around. And here are Aunt Jenny Feinstein and Grandma Nettie. They were the closest sisters I've ever seen in my whole life. They were just inseparable, wrote letters almost every day to each other. They were 6 years apart in age, so it wasn't like they were super close in age, but their personalities were really alike, and I think that's why they were so close. And here come the family. Uncle Dave Lappin coming out the back door, being cute. And here we are together. Such a nice man. He was the oldest son, Grandma Cohen's oldest son, trying to make Uncle Dave comfortable. And here we are. This is Aunt Barbara on the end, feeding the dog. Aunt Jenny there in the background. And here I am with our family dog, Rags, who was a wonderful, wonderful dog. She was a purebred Cocker Spaniel. We bought her at the Humane Society, and we had her for at least 12 or 13 years. And here's Grandma Cohen again, and I don't know who those two gentlemen are on either side of her. Here's Grandma Cohen, Grandma Nettie, Aunt Rose Cohen, Aunt Rose Lappin, and I think that was Sherm on the end. And here we have cousins Carolyn Feinstein-Schulicher and her husband Max Schulicher. In Milwaukee, and I think the woman on the end, on the left here, is Rita Foreman, who was Grandpa Will's sister who lived in Washington, D.C. I think we're in Milwaukee is because Grandma Cohen is in that group, and she wouldn't have been anywhere else but in Milwaukee. And if that was Rita Foreman from Washington, this is her son, Ray Foreman. There they are standing next to each other. And next to Ray is Robert and Rose Wasserman, who are Grandpa Will's sister and brother-in-law. That's a typical pose for Robert Wasserman, rather solemn with his hands in his pockets like that. Aunt Barbara on the left, Mildred Wasserman, Anton, Ray and Frida Foreman, Rose and Robert Wasserman, Art Anton, Grandma Nettie, Jack Anton, and Grandpa Will. And here we are in Los Angeles, and the reason I know that is because the man standing to the right of Grandma Nettie is Lou Blaine, who lived in Los Angeles. He was Aunt Esther's son, Aunt Esther Blaine. She also changed her name to Blaine from Blumberg, as Grandpa Will did. And here's Aunt Barbara again, and doesn't she look lovely? Grandpa Will always wore his hat, and as did Grandma Nettie. Here is Sherm. At the graduation from the University of Minnesota, Barbara graduated and I graduated in 1949.